Yes, Tajikistan has a list of acceptable names. It contains Persian, Turkic, and Muslim names. There are no Russian and English names. Even if you are ethnic Russian or English, you will choose your child's name from a list of acceptable names.
I believe it is the same in Bulgaria. Don't know if it is still like that, but in the 80s, Bulgaria actually forced all Turkic people and Romani people to change their names to Bulgarian ones or Slavic, Christian names, and forced people to not give Turkic or Islamic names. I find it such a bad policy. Hopefully, Tajikistan will remove it, but I don't think they will.
Regarding the ov-like endings, I think that was a thing a few years ago. It wasn't really widespread and it doesn't apply to the 1% of Russians in Tajikistan. I'm not sure about that. Are there sources I can read into?
There are no Russian and English names. Hey, Romanov is the last name of Tajikistan's president. Surely that looks so Islamic. In fact, it's an insult to Muslims and Islam because our Rahman is one of the beautiful names of the one true God.
Iceland as well. You can't name a child a name that is impossible to pronounce or doesn't end in a certain way in the Icelandic language.
Iceland and France also control names for children.
France doesn't control names. The most common name registration in France is an Arabic name.
The same is true in Germany, even if your parents are not German.
There is no book of names in Germany. The rules are that the gender of the person has to be recognizable and the name should not be offensive or derogative. You cannot also name someone after a geographical location or a historical figure. Use a family name as a first name, or name two siblings the same name. In the event of concern by the state, you can fill out a form, explain yourself, and get permission for the crazy name you chose for your child, or get it denied.
As far as I know, all of my extended family who live in Germany have named their children names that are not German or Western names, and there have been no problems at all. I would think there could be a list of names that you cannot use.
The same in Iceland. The only exception is if one of your parents is a foreigner. I understand.
You have misconstrued the Icelandic situation. In Iceland, your surname has to be your mother's or father's name, with the word son or daughter, as is the traditional naming convention. You can't just make up a surname out of thin air. However, foreigners with actual surnames rather than patronymics can continue to use their surnames.
Spain has a list of names you can't call your child, and quite strong guidelines as to the nature of names you should avoid. In fact, the indications seem very sensible. You absolutely can't call your child shit or Satan, for example, and it's recommended not to use the names of fruits, so lime, orange, banana, etc. are out. Neither may you use famous name-surname combos as a given name, such as Rafa Nadal Sanchez. However, a remarkable number of bummers manage to get through the net, even the unpronounceable January. For all I know, South Korea does. Furthermore, an adult foreigner applying for naturalization must choose a Korean name for official use.
Yes, many countries have naming laws that restrict what you can call your child. Or, in the case of the UK, I believe there is an unwritten rule that certain names will be rejected by the registry office. I believe, for example, that while it's not illegal to try to give your child a name that sounds like a royal title, the registry office will politely tell you to go home and think again. Whatever the case, you will never meet an English lady with the legal name Queen, even though Queenie used to be a popular nickname.
Yes, I heard this about Morocco. Only Arabic Muslim names are allowed, and they even have a list with all the available names. This counts for all Moroccan citizens, even those abroad.